on, SPG? Straight out of Steel City, it's Jawbreaker the Poodle. And I got a new reaction video coming at you today. So this just randomly popped up in my feed when I was just chilling on YouTube the other day. And this looks like a win. So the title of today's banger is The Most Disturbing Sesame Street Episode. And it's by Natal's Flame. Now your girl grew up also on Sesame Street. Trust me, I know all about all that. So without wasting any more time, let's be prepared to have our childhoods ruined. Yet again. 2178. What does that mean?
Sesame Street is ancient. It's been around since 1969.
Giggity.
And has been no stranger to dark subject matter. They've covered terrorism, divorce, death, and grief. There's even a Muppet named Cammy who's 5
Mr.
years
Hooper
old
died.
and has HIV from an infected blood transfusion.
And I also talked to them about HIV and AIDS.
They have decades of
Sesame
history
Street
to
was
pull
definitely
from,
the GOAT.
but one episode was pulled from broadcast due to the widespread panic, trauma, and heartbreak it caused millions of live viewers. The
What, Mr.
episode
Hooper?
was aired on March 14th, 1982, and it was called
wasn't even
Big
born
Bird's
yet.
Big Surprise.
What's it called? I was
It
listening.
received a month-long promotional
Oh.
campaign. It was going
Big
to be
Bird-
the
Big
first
Bird's Big
episode to
Surprise.
be aired live with an audience. In Big Bird's Big Surprise, Big Bird revealed that he was expecting a baby.
Huh?
Discussing pregnancy was incredibly groundbreaking for the era, especially for a children's
but-
series. The practical effects were impressive. Lots of respect to Henson and the crew. Eventually, a huge egg emerged from Big Bird's Big Birdussy. Its depiction was
Birdussy?
grounded, natural, and surprisingly mature for children's
Oh,
programming.
no, don't
The
zoom
audience
in.
was quiet, respectful, and showed reverence for the natural
Respectful?
beauty of childbirth.
He's a boy
Eventually,
bird.
the egg started
Stop!
to form, and Big Bird looked exhausted. He was moaning loud enough that the film crew on the adjacent lot had to pause production for the egg to be laid. There was no music, no commentary,
Wait,
just
what?
Big Bird moaning on air for 11 minutes. With a sudden
Oh,
pause,
11
the
minutes?
egg left Big Bird's body and covered the audience in a frothy and sour viscous liquid
got
that the
skin
crew
on the
referred to
audience!
as Big Bird
It
juice.
counts
The live
too!
audience on lot
Big Bird
celebrated
juice?
and danced in the Big Bird juice, erupting in joyous laughter.
Laughter?
Big Bird's bodily fluids even covered many
Oh!
of the Muppets on Sesame Street and some of the cast regulars.
Oh, ski,
All of
ski,
Big
ski,
Bird's
ski,
friends
ski, ski.
celebrated this beautiful achievement with him. The
Okay, this
scene
isn't
was
real.
very touching in its visceral imagery. Big Bird heaved and gasped for breath, and then took
How
a
does Big
stunned
Bird
and
sweat?
joyful look at the fruits of his labor. It was a massive and beautiful egg.
The egg bigger than
promise
him!
of new life, new
Ouch!
stories, and new friends. Big Bird was quietly joyful and soft-spoken. Big Bird then invited the audience to lick the egg and the Big Bird juice
Lick the
and
egg?
Big Bird bits off the table. Attendees reported that Big
This is
Bird
nasty
bits
shit!
were chewy and got stuck
Y'all
in
hear
the
this?
teeth very easily. The Sesame Street crew handed out sledgehammers and instructed the audience to smash at the eggshell to free Big Bird's baby. Big Bird started to sing a song about the different phases of pregnancy
That's
while
not
everyone
how an egg
swung away with
hatches!
their hammers.
That's not how
The
that
audience's
works!
efforts paid off 4 minutes later once Big Bird's song was done. A baby
There's a
erupted
grown-ass
from the
man in
shell
that
and
egg.
began gasping for breath. Big
That's
Bird
not
let
a
out a
baby!
70-second happy shrill scream loudly
That's
and
not a happy shrill.
uninterrupted,
What is
almost
that?
as if the tape was looping with no time for pauses
Okay,
or
stop!
breaths. Big Bird's Big Surprise was
That's
a
a
big
grown-ass
baby. In a
man with
magical moment
titties!
in TV
Spring
history, the
break
child
titties!
emerged from the egg with a deep yawn, a stretch, and a slow and cautious gaze at all of the onlookers. Millions of viewers across the country were glued to their screens all at once. However, the moment of joy took a strange
This really
turn.
happened.
The
It had been
baby
pulled off.
gazed
Well, I guess it
around
was
the room
pulled off
muttering,
technically.
"Buh,
All the
buh,
angry letters they would have been
It
getting.
began to breathe quickly and hyperventilate. Big Bird covered his face and began to whimper, "Not again, not again, please,
Not again."
not again." Big Bird's baby fell over in front of the audience and crew, gasped for breath.
That's not a baby!
Used on the studio floor covered in eggshells and Big Bird bits.
Wait a
and
minute.
it let
Wait
out
a minute.
death
Wait a
rattle
minute. Wait a
heard
minute.
in-
Wait. What in the world does a male 6-year-old, keep in mind, 6-year-old canary have to fuck in order to give birth to a morbidly obese, middle-aged, Caucasian persuasion man? Please answer that for me. Put it in the comments. Anyway, let's get back to this bullshit.
And it let out a death rattle heard in millions of homes and daycares all at once. This new life was snuffed out as quickly
What
as
the-
it came to be. In the darkest moment of the episode, Big Bird took his child
why did
under
egg
his
change
wing
colors?
and began to ask him, "Are you okay?" repeatedly. No answer. A terrifying quiet overtook the room. Big Bird's pleas echoed off the walls with only the hum of cameras to cut through their desperation. The cast and crew behind the scenes were shocked
They
and
still covered
heartbroken
in
by
juice.
this
Clean
new turn
up!
of events. Camera operators' eyes stung from wiping tears away while they were still covered in Big Bird juice. Jim Henson famously stepped out of the room and sobbed heavily in the hall outside.
No, he didn't,
The
bitch!
on-set audience erupted into a choir of sobs and shrieks of
They
mourning
make it sound
and
like Big
horror.
Bird was a real
American
person.
suburbs sounded like haunted choirs as families across the nation mourned all
I
at
would've turned the
once.
TV
In
off.
an
I'm not crying
interview,
over
one
that.
father said the only thing that came close to this trauma was 9/11.
9/11 didn't happen. Wait, what was the name on there? Hold up.
To this trauma
Isn't that
was
Markiplier?
9/11. The celebrity
Or am I
guest,
tripping?
pop singer Hannah Springer was moved to tears. She later revealed that her Grammy-winning album Baby Boots and Big Bird Juice
Why did it really
were
look like an
inspired
album
solely
cover,
by the
though?
event and tremendous impact that it had on her. She died of suicide 4 years later on the anniversary of the event.
But-
Many of the Muppets and their performers
But that happened
suffered
before-
from PTSD following the event. Nothing prepares you for something like this. My kids had never seen me cry before. Nothing is sacred once something like this happens on Sesame Street of all places. The world will never be the same.
Shigeru
The
Miyamoto?
surprise ended with the child's flesh dissolving and decomposing rapidly.
That
on
looks
camera.
gross!
The body weighed over 330 pounds and would come apart if it was lifted by the arms and legs. The only way to remove it was by a construction crane.
A construction crane?
A television special about
His ass
joy
too
in
fat
new
for
life
pallbearers.
ended with the grim reality that we live in an uncaring and brutal universe. Moments of true happiness.
Is the baby
are
getting
fleeting,
fatter?
And the forces of entropy
The man
eventually
baby?
win out over everything with enough time. Rest in peace, baby Big Bird.
Ain't no baby Big Bird!
Z, I can't imagine what it was like seeing this.
Look like a
all
skin
unfold live on
snuffleupagus.
camera. They don't make kids shows like this anymore.
Oh,
and I
Bluey.
wish filmmakers treated their audiences with more respect. The real world is rough, and it's important that we equip our children with the tools that they need. With that said, hug your loved ones a little tighter after watching this. The world is full of uncertainty.
I definitely
and you
am, 'cause I
never
think I need
know how
therapy
much
now.
time you truly have with the people in your life. Sesame Street was a trailblazing and incredible show. It was canceled in 2004.
No, it's
What
not.
A legendary and deep special episode. If you like this and you want to see more,
Why are you
subscribe
lying to the
Jake Paul.
people? What did I just watch? Alright, safe to say this is all just AI generated, but nonetheless, this is just so WTF. Like, who just sat down and thought of this? Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and if you were half as much disturbed as I was, boop the subscribe button. And until next time, Jawbreaker out and stay savage! Next night I'm sad.